You're watching ABC10 Plus This Week.
Hello, I'm Laura Painter. You're watching ABC10 Plus This Week. In Dollars and Cents, we look into phantom debt and the pitfalls of buy now, pay later plans, and an update on Rockland's William Jessup University purchasing Clover Valley for conservation. Then we hit the back roads with John Bartel in San Diego County to ride the romantic and festive waters of Coronado on an authentic Italian gondola. ABC10 Plus This Week starts now. Tonight, in a special Dollars and Cents investigation, Thanksgiving and Black Friday are this week, and the temptation is real to spend big this holiday season. To help afford those purchases, many of you are turning to buy now, pay later loans. But are they worth the convenience? Tonight, what you need to know about phantom debt.
My budget's probably going to be about $1,000.
If I see something that I want to get for someone, I just buy it then and then give it to them.
Yeah, I have nieces and nephews. Whatever they want, they get. But the adults, nah, it's all about the kids.
I am going to spend a little bit more on my close family members than I would on my friends, just because they're a priority to me.
With Black Friday just days away, the National Retail Federation predicts holiday spending will reach a record $902 per person, mostly on gifts. And research shows more people are turning to buy now, pay later plans to afford those gifts. The holiday shopping season is already filled with so much spending temptation. Experts say buy now, pay later plans can encourage shoppers to spend even more than they can afford, especially on impulse purchases. What makes buy now, pay later loans so tempting?
We are driven towards instant gratification. It allows consumers access to cash they may not have quickly.
Klarna, Afterpay, and Affirm are some of the payment options you'll see when you shop online. The companies offer what's called a buy now, pay later payment plan that's typically a no-interest way to break up an expense if you choose the for-payment option due every 2 weeks and pay on time.
Especially when you're trying to stay on a budget, it actually helps you out. Because sometimes kids need stuff right away. Sometimes I need stuff right away, and I don't have $250. So it's like, okay, if I could pay that partial payment, $75, that saves me $100 and something.
Buy now, pay later loans are growing in popularity as an alternative to traditional credit cards, which can charge late fees and more than 35% interest if you don't pay your balance in full. Compare that with Affirm, for example, that says it does not charge late fees, but some of their payment plans do charge up to 36% interest. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau says the number of buy now, pay later loans increased more than 1,000% between 2019 and 2021. Debt accumulated from these kinds of loans is called phantom debt.
It's called phantom because, number one, it's not reported. And number two, because it's not reported, economists and other financial experts can't really get a handle on how much of that debt is actually out there.
And Paley says this matters because consumers might not be as protected as they would with traditional credit cards due to a current lack of regulation.
Because they don't have those protections, consumers don't have the rights that they would normally have with a credit card. For example, if they needed to fight a charge, if they needed to get something removed from their statement or their reports, they aren't going to have the type of supports and the legal precedent to be able to do that.
There are ways to protect yourself, starting with knowing the terms of your buy now, pay later agreement. Read the fine print.
When are things due? What happens if you miss a payment? Does it get reported to the credit bureaus? Do you get charged a penalty fee if you're late on a payment?
All of these things, Paley says, could impact your credit score. If you don't pay on time, depending on the company and the plan you choose, you could be charged late fees and interest.
It is kind of a little wild, wild west area. So the rules are kind of happening as we go. So I think it's important when you do enter a space like that for consumers to be cautious.
And shoppers I talked with recommend remembering what the holidays are truly about.
Don't go overboard. It's all about family more and friends and just being together and spread your love.
Do some homemade gifts and baking and give people, some cookies or something, instead of going out and spending a lot of things that we don't need.
Don't spend more than you have because you don't want to go into debt.
Still have the budget, but just remember why you're buying it. it's a special gift for a special family memory, and to spend time. It also brings family together.
The federal government is looking into buy now, pay later loans. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau says they're concerned with unclear disclosures, how consumer protection laws come into play, a business model that encourages consumers to overextend themselves, and how lenders collect your data. You can find all my dollars and cents stories streaming now on ABC10 Plus. The app is free and available on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. You can also email me your questions at lpainter@abc10.com.
California gas prices, of course, they are top of mind for everyone here in California. It's been nearly a month since the California Air Resources Board, or CARB, voted on a controversial decision that could possibly raise prices even more for next year. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen spoke with one of two board members who voted against the measure and asked why he believes nearly all of his colleagues voted for the change.
Senator Flores?
Flores, no.
Dean Flores was one of 2 out of the 16 CARB board members to vote no on the most recent amendments to the Low Carbon Fuel Standard, or the LCFS. That program's goal is to lower the state's greenhouse gas emissions as the state continues its transition to zero emissions by 2045.
We really didn't debate or have the opportunity to look at additional information, and nonetheless took the vote. Was too much for me to vote any other way but no.
On November 8th, the board held a 12-hour meeting listening to dozens of comments from the public and stakeholders like PG&E. While many people expressed support for the amendments to the LCFS, many, including state lawmakers, opposed it, believing it would drive up gas costs.
Whoever study you looked at, gas prices are going to rise anywhere from 45 cents to $1 per gallon.
The LCFS allows major polluters like oil companies to buy credits and avoid penalties from the state. Regardless of Flores' no vote, the board still passed the measure. Weeks leading up to the vote, CARB's executive officer repeatedly said he did not know how this would impact gas prices.
Gas costs rise, and my response was, no, I don't expect them to.
ABC 10 asked Flores if he believes Dr. Stephen Cliff lied to the public.
I'd rather focus on his further statement. That is, we don't know where gas prices are going. And I think that's absolutely true. And that's what's concerning about it. I don't think anyone was debating whether gas prices would get lower. That's one thing that everybody didn't argue about. And that kind of concerns me as well.
While in Fresno last week, Governor Gavin Newsom expressed his support for the LCFS.
We've long supported low carbon fuel standard. We believe in the importance and the imperative, particularly at this critical moment, as it relates to American history and the likely shift in policies and approach that will be taking place with the Trump administration.
While a nearly 150-page staff report regarding the LCFS mentions drivers would eventually save on gas prices in the coming years, Flores says he has a hard time believing that would actually happen.
I don't know. Let's just use history as an example. When I was a kid, gas cost 25 cents. And I haven't ever seen gas go down all the way into my now 60s.
This board is made up of appointed members and not elected officials, and these are paid positions. Public records show the pay can range from $40,000 to $50,000 a year. In contrast, CARB's chair, Leanne Randolph, made nearly $200,000 in 2023. Because of this, lawmakers have continuously asked for more transparency. If there were to be more oversight or even an audit, Flores says he'll welcome it.
Rightfully, they should get as many answers as they want from CARB, and I think they should obviously, oversight-wise, ask us to justify.
In Sacramento, Jeannie Nguyen, ABC 10.
And we asked, is this a push to get people to stop using gas-powered vehicles? Flores says that he has seen similar models take place in other countries, but believes CARB's goal is to make sure that as much carbon gets out of fuels to reduce the impact on the climate. So time is running out on a pivotal deadline to save the last large area of undeveloped land in Rockland called Clover Valley. We first brought you the story of Jessup University's attempt to buy hundreds of acres of land for preservation back in early 2023. And as we reported, they paid the down payment, but have since then struggled to come up with the nearly $8 million to complete the purchase. ABC 10's Becca Hobbecker shows us that they're exploring all the options before the payment is due next month.
Amid the hustle and bustle of Rockland, Clover Valley is a sanctuary of peace, a more than 600-acre stretch of land within Rockland city limits.
It's like stepping back in time.
Jeff Darlington is executive director of Placer Land Trust, a nonprofit that has protected more than 14,000 acres throughout the county. It's partnering with private Christian Jessup University to turn Clover Valley into a preserve.
Anybody who's been in this area knows that it's a historic area. It's beautiful. It has Native American artifacts, also some wonderfully environmentally sensitive species.
Dr. John Jackson is president of Jessup University, which entered into a purchase agreement with the private developer that owns Clover Valley for 400 acres. The $2.25 million down payment was comprised of $1 million from the city of Lincoln, $1 million from Placer County, and $250,000 from Emigrant Trails Greenway Trust. That was paid about 2 years ago. Jessup then needed to raise about $8 million to complete the purchase, and time is running out.
This is so time sensitive. We have a large payment due in December. We're hoping to be able to complete that payment, and then we'll own it, and then we'll work with Placer Land Trust.
Placer Land Trust will place a conservation easement on the land, protecting it forever. But it can only do that once Jessup owns the land outright.
Fundraising has been a challenge. It's interesting to me. I thought this was such a huge area that people wanted to preserve, but we paid interest of about $500,000 last year, and we since then have not been able to really raise much principal.
Jessup and Placer Land Trust have applied for grants with no luck, so now they're hoping for a last-minute major donor or an extension from the landowner.
I'm not out of hope yet. We're pursuing an extension to next year. Give us some time. Recently, California passed Prop 4, which had the climate bond, which can have some funding that could help with this.
If the purchase falls through, the developer still has an entitlement to build some 500 homes.
Yeah.
I met with Doug Brewer and Tony Rickettsia of Clover Valley Foundation.
Our goal as a foundation is to preserve the entire valley. That means the valley floor, the slopes, and these ridges.
They've been fighting against development here for some 25 years.
Clover Valley somehow, over the course of 60 years, has somehow escaped development. And it would just be kind of heartbreaking to see this develop.
They're concerned about a development planned for the ridge top of Clover Valley. More on that in a future story. But they are aligned with Placer Land Trust and Jessup in wanting to preserve the valley floor and slopes. Anyone who wants to contribute can do so at jessup.edu/Clover Valley. In Rockland, Becca Habiger, ABC10.
The city of Rockland is holding an informational meeting next Wednesday about the future of Clover Valley. That's 5 p.m. at the Rockland Police Department. We have a hopeful update tonight on a retired Sacramento Kings player who was in a life or death situation and needed a new heart. As we reported back in February, 49-year-old Scott Pollard got that heart, and since then it has been a long road of recovery and healing. And now, as ABC10's Becca Habiger shows us, he's connected with his donor's family, and they have a message to share tonight.
I am very grateful to be alive. I keep waking up.
Standing 6 feet 11 inches tall, retired NBA player Scott Pollard did not have a heart easy to replace, but he needed a new one and didn't have much time.
I didn't have months left. I probably didn't have weeks left.
Pollard played college ball for the Jayhawks, was drafted 19th into the NBA, spending 11 years in the league with several teams, including 5 seasons with the Sacramento Kings from '98 to '03. But a heart defect runs in his family.
I was 16 when my dad died on the heart transplant list, and my son was 16 when I got my heart transplant surgery.
At age 48, Pollard needed a new heart. His energy was dropping quickly.
It was rough. I was like, sorry, I'm emotional about it, but I just remember just going, I'm done. I don't want to do this. I don't want to get out of bed. That was a low point.
On February 16th, 4 days after his 49th birthday, which he spent in the ICU at Vanderbilt University Medical Center in Nashville, Pollard received a heart.
Casey is my donor's name. He's a big dude. He was 6'3". My doctor said that's about as short as we could go, but his heart is big. It's pumping. It's working. I'm very happy that the family is okay. And they're still processing, of course. They've lost a loved one. It was not expected. He got sick and ended up contracting pneumonia, and he couldn't kick it.
He calls Casey's gift bittersweet.
I mean, how more bittersweet could something be when there's a loss and a new life?
Pollard recently met Casey's family.
He was a big man and a giver. They said he never met a stranger.
And Casey's big heart got even bigger.
I'm the tallest dude Vanderbilt's ever transplanted. They don't know what's going to happen. My heart grew. Casey's heart grew in my chest. They measured it. They're like, hey, so your heart grew. And I was like, oh, okay. How often does that happen? They're like, never. I said, so how do we explain that? And they said, well, it's in a king-size bed now, and it's just starfishing.
Pollard has 4 kids ranging in age from 8 to 26. Doctors tell him it's uncertain exactly how much this new heart will extend his life.
We just want to keep this heart beating as long as possible. So I'm in a rush to make memories with my family, first and foremost. I'm in a rush to help other people with whatever I've got left. I'd like to say I've got a decade. Casey was only 46, so I've got a 46-year-old heart. That's not old, so I'm hoping that it ends up that we defy the odds.
He's grateful to Casey and his family.
You know, he didn't get to live a long life, but now I've hopefully got to live a long life and carry forward his legacy.
It's time for another Transplant Tuesday tidbit.
He and Casey's family are now advocating for organ donation.
He helped 5 people with his corneas, his kidneys, his skin, and I got his heart.
A heart on a mission to help save more lives. Becca Habiger, ABC10.
And signing up to become an organ donor is quick, easy, and free. You can sign up through Donate Life California. Pollard says even if you've signed up through the DMV, you might want to double check and make sure that you are on the registry at the Donate Life website.
Well, there's many ways to celebrate the holidays, but if you're in the San Diego area, I suggest jumping aboard a gondola. John Bartel here, and making a little pit stop at the Coronado Cays. If you find yourself in Venice, Italy during the Christmas holiday, you might get to experience the Regatta of Santa Clauses, riding gondolas down the city's historic narrow canals.
This is a Buon Natale, Merry Christmas.
Here in San Diego, you won't find Santa on the gondola, but you can catch a holiday ride with Julia.
Any Italian Christmas songs?
Not off the top of my head.
Julia's a gondolier for the Gondolier Company on the Coronado Cays, which is a wealthy waterfront community with a canal system of their own.
Used to be only accessible by ferry, and then they built Imperial Beach and Silver Strand Beach out to meet it, so now it's sort of a peninsula.
Before a bridge was built, the island of Coronado was an exclusive getaway for the ultra-rich, made popular by the luxurious and historic Hotel del Coronado, which attracted movie stars like Marilyn Monroe and a number of presidents like John F. Kennedy. Today, though, common folk like me can visit Coronado and admire the island's multi-million-dollar homes and yachts, all while Julia rows me around on her authentic Venetian gondola imported from Italy.
They're made out of, I think, like 12 or 13 different types of wood, and they're very secretive about like how it actually happens.
You can't just pick up a gondola from Amazon.
No, no.
The Venetian gondola dates back to the 11th century. The narrow boats played a crucial role in transporting products and people through the narrow canals of Venice. Today, though, the gondola's primary use is inspiring romance.
Oh, of course, yeah, we do proposals. So every once in a while, we'll get like a very festive, super into the holidays couple that wants to go at Christmas, so it's kind of fun.
Julia guides gondola trips year-round, but she says the holiday tour has a special kind of romance.
Last week when it was raining a little bit, I had a surprise proposal, like sort of in the rain. We were out kind of looking at the mountains out there, and he just turned around and did it, and that was cool. It surprised me and also her. She was like sort of taken aback and flabbergasted.
Even though it was just me and my photographer Tyler Horst on this tour, I had a great time and couldn't help but feel the presence of past romance lingering in the salty San Diego air. Either that, or I was just feeling the effects of the complimentary drinks. Aboard the gondolas at the Coronado Cays, I'm John Bartel. Hope to see you on the backroads.
So
So many great movies came out this year, and a lot of them critically acclaimed. And the Gotham Film Awards are expected to set the tone for the Oscars. So with that, ABC10's Marcus Allen tells us which movie to look out for and how you can watch this upcoming award show.
Hey, thanks, you guys. You know I'm all about award season and celebrating motion picture, and coming up in a moment, you're going to find out a way you can celebrate movies in a big way and help launch the countdown to the Academy Awards. Sure, they're not till next year, but right now, I got to talk about the Gotham Awards. Why are these awards important? Because largely for the last 10 years, they've really been teeing up the movie that goes on to win the Oscar. And you're saying, well, I've never heard of these. Well, you shouldn't have. The Gotham Awards, very East Coast based. New York City started. The reason being, New York City and the area felt that Hollywood was getting way too, well, Hollywood. Celebrating movies strictly made in California and Hollywood. Well, they created their own award show over 30 years ago. It is the Gotham Awards. And for the very first time, you're going to be able to see it live on Monday. And I'll tell you how in a minute. Highlights I can already tell you about: Timothée Chalamet being honored there, as well as Zendaya. In fact, Zendaya and her movie Challengers going to do very well in all awards show. Mark my words right now. I have seen this movie 3 times. I'm reading the screenplay right now. The screenplay reads amazing because it went on to make an amazing movie. We caught up with Zendaya to talk about that. Listen.
It's always a joy to be able to work with characters that are nuanced and complex and messy and confusing and ones that you're always questioning. I think something that, you know, really popped out for me, which I hope that you feel like you took away having watched it 3 times, is that each time that you watch it or you read it, there's something new that you learn about the characters. And as we were creating it and making it, even the way that these guys kind of came in and the life that they brought to the characters changed my perception of who I thought they were. So I think for me, also the fact that this film was, it's hard to define. When people ask me, like, what kind of film is it? I don't really know if I can give you an answer. And that's really special. It's funny, but it's not a comedy. It's got sports, but it's not a sports movie. And it's dramatic, and there's pain and grief and loss, all these, you know, very complicated human emotions. But it's not like a drama, you know. So it's hard to define, and I think Luca really put all of that together.
So hard to define, but I will define it this way. It is steamy. If you weren't paying attention during that erotic trailer, it's a bit of a love triangle. But tennis, after all, is a game of love. It's streaming now. And speaking of streaming, check this out. The Gotham Awards for the very first time streaming. You'll be able to find them on all of your apps: Roku, Fire, Apple TV+. First of all, you need to make sure you have that, the ABC10 Plus app, where you can get all kinds of great stuff like my show. Take a look. But more importantly, the Gothams exclusively December 2nd, 4 p.m. stream live. What I love about it, it's kind of messy too. Unlike the slick award shows you're going to see later on, this one's kind of down and dirty, and I like it. Zendaya, Monday. Back to you guys.
Thank you for watching ABC10 Plus this week. Remember, we're here 24/7 on the free ABC10 Plus app. You can get your local news and weather anytime, anywhere. I'm Laura Painter. See you next time.
Hey, Bob, here's dinner.
Thanks, Dad.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Good.
Why didn't I eat, Dad?
I had a really big lunch, a dinosaur-sized lunch.
I knew.
Yeah, and I'm not hungry.
No parent should have to choose who gets to eat. Go to abc10.com/standagainsthunger and make a donation today.
Thanks for watching ABC10 Plus. And now that you're here, why don't we take a look around and see what else is here? The very first tile on your left is always going to be streaming 24/7. You can find us adjacent to that, breaking news if it's there. And then right next to that, a replay of the most recent newscast. Whether it's ABC10 Morning News at 5, 6, or beyond, it's going to be there. The forecast beyond that, and then right beyond that, the news that matters the most. Now that you know the basic tiles, let's go up to the top and take a deeper dive into news. We have every single newscast that you would need, including To the Point with Alex Bell, taking a deeper dive into the issues. Beyond that, ABC10 Morning News at 5 and 6 and 11, the evening shows as well. Below that, you can watch the top stories from To the Point. Under that, Dollars and Cents, where you can learn how to navigate this challenging economy. And below that, you can watch our award-winning ABC10 Special Investigations, where we hold the powerful accountable. Going into weather, look, it's the 10-day forecast, getting you ready for the weekend and beyond. Beyond that, sports. I know you care about the Sacramento Kings. We have the most comprehensive guide to anything, everything Kings in the locker room and on the court. We have it. Below that, I know you care about the San Francisco 49ers. We can't mention Bay Sports without talking about the Oakland A's. We have that too. What's super exciting, I know you care about high school sports. You'll never find a more comprehensive guide and team dedicated to high school sports. Backing out again, come up to the top and join me on Verify. I'm super excited about this. Our experts are checking the facts, verifying the truth for you. Jump up now to shows. Very excited about this. Oh, look. It's Take a Look. This is my show. I love movies, and if you love movies or streaming shows, whether it's on screens this big, or this big, it's Take a Look. Recently went behind the scenes, sat down with Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix to talk about Joker 2. I love the movie, and oh, I just heard you shout you hate the movie. Jump in, we talk about it on this show. Other shows, Bartell's Backroads, go up and down the state of California, tank of gas getaways, one fuel cell getaway, like places like the Toy Museum. This is what kids did before they had screens. Over here, the Moaning Caverns of Calaveras County, one of the most coveted caves in all of California. You know, watching this show, I discovered there's a cave that could fit the entire Statue of Liberty in your own backyard. You'll find about that and more with Bartell's Backroads. Down below that, To the Point. It is one of my favorite newscasts because they talk about news with Alex Bell the way you talk about news. It's conversational but in-depth at the same time. Below that, Your California Life. Love this show. Whether it's entertainment, food, beverage, lifestyle, it's there. Desiree Shepherd hosts and does an amazing job. So there you have it. It's ABC10 Plus, the app. What do you need? We heard you and we got it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for streaming.
Award season kicks off with the Gotham Film Awards. Join us for a celebration of the boldest films of the year, highlighting groundbreaking independent voices, performances, and creators. Get your front row seat to the red carpet, featuring stars from Angelina Jolie to Timothée Chalamet and many more. Be the first to discover must-watch movies for your binge list. Join us for this exclusive live event. Watch the 2024 Gotham Film Awards live Monday, December 2nd. Stream it only on Plus.